All right, number 10 on my list is Tobias Harris. I was listening to Ryan Russillo and Bill Simmons talk about Tobias Harris, and somebody is going to pay him a lot of money. That's what they were saying. They said somebody has a check ready for Tobias Harris, and I think they do, because he is good. He is a good player. He just, underperforms, really. And he didn't look good without Embiid, and he had a really rough playoffs this year. Held to under 10 points in 5 of the games they played, and in game 6 went scoreless. That sucks. You get eliminated on a contract year, and in that final game, you didn't score. Man, that's such a bad timing to have a terrible game. But I think they're right. And I think the Pistons, I think he's going back to the Pistons. That was his second team. He started as a Buck. The best time of his life was when he was a Clipper. That was a great Clippers team. Tobias Harris, Boban, Pat Bev. That was a good Clippers team. I missed that Clippers team. That was a likable Clippers team, but they're gone. So Tobias Harris is going to get paid. Bill Simmons thinks he's going to get a Bruce Brown deal, sort of a 2-year deal that's really inflated at the beginning, like $25 million right at the beginning. You know what I'm talking about? Where you get $25 million for that first year, but then the second year is a team option to make sure that you play well. That could be the move for Tobias Harris, honestly. If you believe in yourself and you think you're going to have a couple good seasons after, then you're like, hey, I'll do a 2-year team option, whatever. It's $50 million, 2 years. Last year's a team option. Sure. Because I think I can get more money. It's not a bad idea. Rather than get like $80 million over 4 years, you can actually say, well, I'm going to get actually more money because I'm going to sign multiple contracts and I'm going to prove that I'm worth it every year. So, oh man, yeah, but do you remember Tobias Harris over me? Jimmy didn't have to do that. Do you remember when Jimmy Butler said that? Because this deal he's coming off of, this 5-year, $180 million deal, and people in Philly have been talking crap about him this entire contract, saying that he's overpaid, saying they wish they had Philly. Do you remember when he talked about the crumble cookie? He was like, man, people in Philly would trade me for a crumble cookie. Do you remember? That was pretty funny. I actually like that. I like Tobias Harris. By all accounts, nice guy. Good locker room guy. So we'll see what happens. He played a lot of games, man. He's turning 32 this summer. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right for Tobias Harris. He needs to get out of Philly, though. He needs a fresh start, somewhere where people are going to be excited to see him and have him be the star of their team. I'm going to pick up my cat. All right, let's move on. Oh, he played 70 games. Did I mention that? 33 minutes, 70 games, 17 points. Not bad for a contract year. So it'll be good. Isaiah Hartenstein, he's next. Man, you probably thought Tobias Harris would be a little bit higher. The thing is, he's just become such a joke that I put him 10th on my list because people just aren't that hyped for him. Here's the thing. Won't return to the Knicks, and it's too bad because he's playing his way out of the Knicks because the Knicks are over the salary cap. Well, don't they have his bird rights? No. They have early bird rights. He hasn't been on that team long enough, so they can only offer him, I think, 120% of his current salary. So what does that mean? That means that a team that is operating without being over the cap can sign him as a free agent for a lot more money than the Knicks can. That's the bad thing about being over the salary cap. You have to operate under the exceptions, or also known as, just the rules, with these weirdo rules. So it's strange. He's 26 years old, averaging 11 points a game in the playoffs. He's really showed up since Mitchell Robinson? Yeah, no, something's wrong here. Mitchell Robinson. Man, correct me if I'm wrong. I've had a long day. Am I saying that name wrong? The center, who's now out. He'll be back. Isaiah Hartenstein, probably not, because he's playing too well. I think OKC could pick him up. They do have cap space. They could fit him in. If he could play next to Chet as a proper center, while Chet plays like the 4, I think that'd be pretty good. I'd like that team. We'll see what happens, though. He's going to be a starting center somewhere. He's played his way out of the bench spot, so good for him. He's at the end of a $16 million 2-year contract with the Knicks. That's why they have the bird rights, the early bird rights, because he signed as a free agent 2 years ago, not 4. Had he signed 4 years ago, they could sign him to a max contract. They could offer him more money than anyone else, even though they're over the salary cap. That's how it works. That's what bird rights are. Now you know. Miles Bridges, I hate to put him on this list because I don't, whatever. People are people. He's made a lot of mistakes, but he has a lot of growing up to do, and he should not be in the NBA. And that's not because he's a bad person. It's just that he's not the type of caliber human being that we should let in the league. Nevertheless, someone is going to pick him up this year, and it's going to be the Hornets. The Hornets were actually shopping him around at the trade deadline, trying to get him traded, and he has veto rights. He has the power of veto for a trade under his current contract. I don't know how that works. It's not a no trade clause, but there's some reason he can veto it. And he did. He wanted to stay in Charlotte, which I understand. Given his past, given his crimes, a team that said, hey, we want you back, we want you to sign here. I could see him saying, I don't want to go to a new team. I don't want to feel the judgment of them talking about me and my crimes. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel the awkwardness. I know other people are going to have a problem with me. So I know he wants to stay in Charlotte. So I got a feeling he's going to stay in Charlotte. That's the thing. He is a good player, but he's just not a great guy right now. And it's a shame. He's hard to root for. That's what it is. If a team signs him, I think Charlotte's kind of used to him because he's been there his entire career. So it kind of feels like a family there in his whole redemption arc. Do you understand what I'm saying? It kind of feels like, oh, it's our prodigal son who's back, versus if he were to sign somewhere else, you have this whole new fan base that has to be like, do we like this guy? Are we sure we wanted to sign this guy? That feels some sort of ethical, disgust with signing him. So, I don't know. He's staying in Charlotte, man. Klay Thompson is number 7. The thing is, he's gotten so much crap this year. And the reason he's gotten so much crap this year is because he's on a huge contract right now. And people are saying that he's going to want another huge contract. Basically, he was overpaid for his production this year at 17.9 points a game. His shooting percentages aren't bad. He's not a bad player. Teams are going to be interested in him. But it's just that kind of awkward conversation of, hey, we're not going to pay you what you could get elsewhere. Also, we're definitely not going to pay you a max, which is probably something that you think you want. He's going to get an offer from the Warriors. It's going to be less than he wants, less than he can get from, I don't know, the Orlando Magic, who seem to like him. So I don't know. What's probably going to happen, I have it up here, he's probably just going to play for the Warriors, man. He's probably going to sign another contract, 2-year contract with the Warriors, and he's not going to be happy about the money he's making. He's probably going to talk a lot about like how I should be getting paid more. He might be getting like $10 million a year or something like that, but he's expected to get $20 million a year from perhaps the Orlando Magic, who have cap space. I hate to see it. I think that's how you that's the choice you have. Do you either take less money and then sort of complain about it when time comes around and maybe you don't get as much playing time and you think, man, this was regrettable, this wasn't what I expected when I signed the contract? Or do you just do what every good player kind of ends up doing, unless their number one franchise does them a favor? Do what Ewing did, do what Barkley did, do what Hakeem Olajuwon did, do what Tony Parker did. Just be like, I want to keep playing and I want to go somewhere that values me. Which is what he should do, and it'll suck to see him in an Orlando Magic jersey, but I would respect it because he did him. Who cares what anyone thinks? Who cares about getting a statue outside of the stadium? Would you rather have Klay or Malik Monk? Because who's next? Malik Monk. I love Malik because he has no drama with him. He's just sort of whatever team he's on, he's there for it. He's there for the cause, and he's ready to get buckets. There's no drama with him. He wants to stay. Apparently, he wants to stay a King. Legend has it. But, again, the Kings signed him on a 2-year deal. Or it might have been 2 1-year deals. Either way, it doesn't matter when it comes to bird rights. They can only offer him $78 million because they're over the cap too. They have early bird rights on him too. So if another team pays him preposterous amounts of money, he's going to that team. Otherwise, he's staying King because he said he wants to be a King. He's durable, coming off an ACL injury. He didn't play in the play-in, which was unfortunate. I really would have liked to see him play in that game or both those games. But what are you going to do? Magic are interested in him. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. So we'll see. If Orlando pays him a handsome sum of money, he'll go there. I don't know why I put Orlando. I just have a hard time seeing him in Orlando being a starter, making over $20 million a year, or $20 million a year rather. I don't know if it really. Well, They need 3-point shooting. And if they can't get Klay, they're going to go with Malik Monk. There it is. How's that? I think that's the truth. OG's going to stay a Knick, man. They traded, he had it was an expiring contract that they traded for. There's another guy coming up, same position. The Knicks want him. But the thing is, he's only played 17 out of the 41 games he's been a Knick. His whole career, he has not been durable. Even in his championship playoffs, he didn't play. He's still a champion, though. But, man, he's so injury prone. And he went out with a hamstring strain, which I always think is concerning when something happens and it isn't a incident injury. It's just sort of a muscle gave out rather than a sprained ankle or landing wrong, because that feels like a freak accident. But when guys just have muscles that snap when they do a basketball move, scares me, man. The Raptors didn't want to pay him. The Raptors traded him, tried to get something back for him before his contract ended, which they did. Good for them. But it's looking like he's going to sign a $150 million 4-year deal with the Knicks. I think they're going to offer him the max. They want him because when he's playing, he's the best 3-and-D guy in the league. So yeah, he'll probably get it, I assume. But again, he's in. Dude, the Knicks were terrible today. It's just Sunday. Today's Sunday, and the Knicks were brutal. If y'all watch the game, I mean, OG's a good player, but y'all know he gets hurt all the time. He's pumping ibuprofen all the time. James Harden, the number 4. I guess I'm not really necessarily doing this with who's going to get the most money, but I think who are the most interesting free agents that I think people are going to have their eye on. I think he stays a Clipper, man. The Clippers have tons of money and they're horny for stars. They just want guys that people know because they want to get people in that Intuit dome. That's what they want. They want to get people, and they can't just have a basketball sicko roster. They need stars. They need people to come through the doors, and they want to see a star player play. That's the clientele that the NBA is marketing to. That's the way it is. That's how they make their money. And you have to be okay with that, right? You have to be anti-load management. Personally, I don't care. Anyway, he's a low vibes guy, man. I think a lot of these guys are like low vibes. They've been in the league for a long time. They're kind of waiting around for the chip. They're waiting around for the playoffs. I don't see them as being very excited about the game anymore. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think? Let me know. But a lot of these guys that have been in the league for a long time feel very vibeless, and the passion seems to not be there, in my opinion. He's 35. He's not getting a 4-year contract. What are you, crazy? Pay James Harden when he's 39 years old? I don't think so. No way. He's incredibly durable on a very fragile team. He'll stay a Clipper. That's the way it is. He's dramatic. It's James Harden. He's going to force a trade. He's going to get pouty. Plays point guard well, man. You got to have him. Is he capable of being a lead scorer on a team? Well, if he stays a Clipper, he won't have to, and we'll never know. Pascal Siakam, again, sort of like OG. There's a handshake deal. When the Indiana Pacers traded for him, there was like a handshake deal that he would stay and he would sign a new contract because this is an expiring contract. He's going to be a free agent as soon as the Pacers are out of the playoffs or if they win a championship. Hey, it can happen. So he says he wants to stay in Nap City. I think he said that at the All-Star game. I just watched a clip of him saying it. Believe me, he said it. He said he wants to stay and make this place his home, which is pretty cool. So he's going to be there, man. He's only 30. He's worth a max contract. That's the thing. But he isn't popular. He isn't a sexy player. Him and Julius Randle are the best players in the league that no one really fawns over. No one really talks about because their game isn't sexy. But they're worth a max contract. I think both of them are. Pacers gave up 3 first-round picks. For him, an expiring contract, he's signing a new contract. And that was established before he got there. They were in cahoots. They were a part of a secret society signing deals before they were done. Solid stat player, consistent player. Love Pascal. Good smile, too. Seems like a good guy. He's got love for the game. Paul George, a joyless basketball player, I got to say. And I don't think he wants to leave. I think he ends up a Clipper. That's the thing. Everyone's talking about him going to Philly. I think Philly's going to offer him more money, but Paul George is going to stay a Clipper. The thing is, it is weird to keep that nucleus together because it's been such a failure for, 5 years? Do you just go in and sign up for 7 more years of it? or for 7 years total? Just hoping? I don't think so. I think you need a clean house. I think you need an entirely new team. But again, they need to fill out that Intuit Dome with people who want to get Paul George autographs. That's just the way it is. He just played his healthiest season, only averaged 19 points in the playoffs. I don't know, man. It would just be so boring, right? If they signed Paul George again and you have Kawhi and Paul George as your lead guys for another 2 years. Again, he has a $48 million player option, so he doesn't have to do anything. He can say, whatever, I'll wait and I'll become a free agent again because I have a player option. I'm going to get my $48 million this year and then see who's waiting for me to sign a contract next offseason. He can do that. That's in a good position to be in if you're Paul George. I think he stays. I think he wants to stay in LA. His podcast studio is set up there. He just wants to stay in Los Angeles where he's from. And that's worth a lot. He doesn't want to move to Philadelphia. That's just the truth. That's just the truth, and that's why he's going to stay. Oh, definition of insanity. Repeating the same thing 5 times and signing up for 2 more years of it. Insanity. The definition. Thy name is Paul George. 39 years old, 2-year contract for LeBron James. Is he going to do that? He has a player option, though, too, for $51 million. Word on the street is he wants a max contract extension again for 3 years. That's what he's asking for. Do you give it to him? If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, sure, I guess. I mean, I guess you want... The Lakers are nothing without LeBron James. Kind of as a business in general. Obviously, they have their namesake. They're one of the most popular sports franchises in the world. But as a basketball team, they're nothing without LeBron James. And with LeBron James, they're not good. That's the crazy thing. They're nothing without LeBron James. And if they don't have him, they're just sort of, okay. They're a 7 seed in the playoffs. They're a play-in team. So what do? Just rock it out. Just thug out the last couple years of LeBron's career. That's what we're doing. Not we. But that's what I see. I think it's what I think. I think you sort of live in delusion for a little bit if you're the Lakers and LeBron James, thinking that we're just a couple moves away from a championship team until LeBron's like, my back hurts. My back hurts. I'm 42 years old and I don't want to play basketball anymore. And then you talk about for the next 3 years, man, if we just done. You just sort of talk about what could have been. That's what I think happens. But if you're brave, and you're LeBron James, you turn down that $51 million and you sign with the Sixers and you say, I think we got 1 more in us. Maybe 2? I don't know. That's what you do. You don't rock it out with the Lakers, even though it feels good, it feels like home, and it feels like a decent team. But if you want a championship, baby, you ain't getting it with the Lakers. That's my opinion, though. I don't know. What do I know about basketball? I really don't know that much. So all I know is when I watch the Lakers, it hurts. Because I'm always like, I make this face like, oh, come on. And I never feel like we blow a team out. I feel like we never blow teams out. That's how I feel. Anyway, Lakers, again, this is from my slide from last week, but Lakers only have 1 first-round pick to trade. You can't assemble a good team. So Lakers are going to draft Bronny James. That's the way it's going to be. No one else is going to draft him because they know. They're like, oh, we can draft him. What are we going to do, hold him hostage? It just feels weird and feels like something they wouldn't want to get involved in. So the Lakers will grab maybe the first round, maybe the second round. I'm feeling like it's the first round, and it's going to be bad. Ooh, man, it's going to be bad. But anyway, I think those are going to be the top free agents this year. I didn't include the restricted free agents just because typically they just stay with the team that has their rights. So I didn't put them in there. Like Maxey is going to be a Sixer. That's the way it's going to be. Even if they get someone else to sign a qualifying offer, they'll just match it. That's the way it's going to be. That's how it is in the NBA. Be good to your mothers. Eat a corn dog. Talk to some people about basketball this week.